called him a fifth-round project, said he'd sit behind veterans, that he needed development time. But after training camp, the NFL just got slapped with reality. Shedeur Sanders is not only ready, he might be the best quarterback on the Browns roster right now. For months, the Browns front office and coaching staff danced around the truth, hiding behind narratives, playing it safe. But training camp footage doesn't lie. And now, the same voices that downplayed him are suddenly changing their tune. Why? Because Sanders didn't just show up, he dominated. His command, his precision, his leadership, all on full display. And when Browns insider Nick Wilson finally broke rank and admitted it, fans knew what they'd been seeing all along. This isn't about hype, it's about results. So the real question isn't whether Shedeur is ready, it's whether the Browns are brave enough to stop living in fear and play the guy who's already earned it. Because if they don't, it won't just cost them games, it might cost jobs. From the moment Shedeur Sanders declared for the draft, a narrative was already forming, and it wasn't built on tape or performance. It was built on assumptions. He's not ready. He's a mid-round developmental guy. Maybe he'll be a backup someday. The fifth-round label wasn't just a draft position. It became the excuse. Analysts ran with it. Coaches played coy. And the front office? They leaned into the idea that Shedeur was some project they could quietly stash while sticking with guys they already knew weren't the answer. The media acted like this was normal, like burying talent was just part of the process. But here's the truth they don't want to admit. This project came in with more poise, preparation, and polish than half the quarterbacks already on the depth chart. Still, they tried to package it up as some long-term experiment, a guy to develop someday. Why? Because owning the truth too early would have meant admitting they misjudged the situation from the start. But football doesn't run on narratives, it runs on results. And when a player shows he's ready, in camp, in meetings, in live reps, you don't get to pretend he's invisible anymore. That's what makes this moment dangerous for the status quo. Once training camp kicked off, everything the front office tried to bury started coming to the surface. Shedeur Sanders wasn't just showing up, he was showing out. The mechanics, clean. The decision-making, sharper than anyone expected. The leadership, undeniable. It didn't take long before players were gravitating toward him, and coaches had no choice but to pay attention. Every rep was another piece of evidence. Every throw, another reason to stop pretending. And slowly, the whispers started. Insiders who were silent during draft season started leaking out phrases like turning heads and making a case. One by one, the doubters began to pivot. And not because of hype, because of what they were seeing with their own eyes. And here's where it gets interesting. No one inside that building expected Shedeur to make it this uncomfortable, this fast. Most thought he'd sit back, learn the system, and maybe make noise next year. But he had different plans. By week 2 of camp, it was obvious. This wasn't a kid who needed time. This was a quarterback who could take over a locker room right now and do it with confidence. And when clips started leaking online, fans knew exactly what they were watching. This wasn't a maybe. This was a problem for the depth chart. The shift didn't start with a press conference. It started with a mic. When Nick Wilson, a Browns insider known for towing the line, went live on air and broke the silence, it changed everything. His tone? Dead serious. His words? Unfiltered. Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback on this roster right now. Just like that, the walls came down. Up to that point, most of the media had played it safe. Regurgitating front office talking points were skimming past Shedeur's name like he was just a future footnote. But Nick didn't just throw his opinion out there. He lit a fuse. Fans had been watching camp clips for weeks. They'd seen the ball placement, the pocket presence, the calm under pressure. But they were waiting for someone, anyone, from the inside to say it out loud. And when Nick did, it validated everything. The reaction? Immediate. Clips of the segment went viral. Comment sections exploded. Browns fans and even some rivals started asking the same question. Why is this guy not getting first-team reps? Mick Wilson didn't just give Shedeur credit. He exposed a bigger issue, a front office clinging to a plan that no longer fit the reality on the field. And once the truth's out, it doesn't go back in the box. The Browns front office had a plan, but it's unraveling fast. They went into the draft thinking Shedeur Sanders would be a developmental backup. They padded the depth chart with familiar veterans, locked in playbooks around safe options, and sold fans the same promise: we're building for the future. But here's the problem. The future showed up early, and now they don't know what to do with it. Instead of adapting, they've doubled down, still giving reps to guys who've already peaked, still acting like Sanders is just there to soak up knowledge. Meanwhile, every practice says otherwise. The decision-makers are watching him outplay expectations in real time and freezing. This isn't just about quarterback depth, it's about leadership confusion at the highest level. When your front office sees talent but refuses to adjust the plan, that's not strategy, that's fear. Fear of being wrong, fear of backlash, fear of shaking up a system that hasn't worked in years. And the worst part? Everyone sees it. The players, the media, the fans. They know when the guy on the bench is outshining the guy under center. This isn't a quarterback controversy. It's an identity crisis. And if the front office keeps dragging its feet, it won't just cost them wins. It'll cost them the locker room. While everyone's focused on the quarterback room, there's a bigger bet being made, and it's happening on the sidelines. Kevin Stefanski is coaching like a man trying to prove a point. That system matters more than spark, and experience trumps energy. And to some degree, it's understandable. He's seen what chaos looks like. He values control. But here's the issue. You can't coach scared when the moment demands boldness. Shedeur Sanders isn't just another rookie. He's a system disruptor, the kind of player who forces you to rethink everything. And so far, Stefanski hasn't shown he's willing to do that. He's playing it safe. Too safe. Sticking to script while Sanders is rewriting it in real time. It's not just conservative, it's risky. Because if Sanders keeps impressing and the Browns keep losing, it won't just be the front office under the microscope. Stefanski will face the music too, for failing to adapt, for ignoring the locker room pulse, for putting ego above evolution. This isn't about rushing a rookie into chaos. It's about recognizing that sometimes the boldest move is the most logical one. And right now, the most logical thing is to ride the wave while it's hot, not wait for it to crash on its own. If Stefanski waits too long, he won't just lose games, he might lose the team. At this point, the question isn't, is Shedeur Sanders ready? It's why are they still holding him back? He's outperformed expectations. He's outshined veterans. He's outplayed the narrative. And still, he's watching from the sidelines while the team sticks to a plan that's already crumbling under its own weight. What more does he have to prove? The truth is, teams talk all the time about earning your shot, about competing, about letting the best man win. Well, he won in camp, in film, in the locker room. Everyone sees it. Some just don't want to admit it. And the longer the Browns drag their feet, the more obvious it becomes that this isn't about readiness. It's about pride. It's about saving face. But that kind of thinking gets coaches fired and franchises stuck. Let the kid play. Let the guy who's shown real fire lead a team that's been desperate for an identity. Let the quarterback who's actually making plays take the wheel, not the one with the safer resume. Because if you wait too long, you don't just waste momentum, you kill it. And if the Browns don't unleash Shedeur soon, someone else will. Every few years, a player comes along who doesn't fit the blueprint, who breaks the rules just by being too good, too fast. And the teams that win, they're the ones bold enough to recognize it and pivot. Shedeur Sanders didn't come to the NFL to wait in line. He came to compete. And whether the Browns like it or not, he's doing exactly that. Right now, in real time. The film is out there. The stats are coming. The whispers are getting louder. And eventually, the Browns will have a choice to make. Protect the system or unleash the spark. Because moments like this don't last forever. Momentum fades, locker rooms shift, and fans move on. One day, we might look back at this moment as the fork in the road, where the Browns could have leaned in, let go of old narratives, and handed the keys to a quarterback ready to change everything. Or we'll remember it as the moment they blinked. The NFL doesn't wait for anyone. And Shedeur Sanders? He's not just knocking on the door. He's already halfway through it.